Hey guys, it's Neat One Up here, back at it again. In the year of 2000X, a super robot named Megaman was created. Dr. Light created Megaman to stop the evil desires of Dr. Wily. However, after his defeat, Dr. Wily created 8 of his own robots to counter Megaman. Welcome to Mega Man 2 the Neat Way. Mega Man 2 is the second Mega Man game in the classic series and is also probably the most popular one. Mega Man 2 has held the title of the most best-selling game in the franchise, having sold 1.5 million units, and has held that title for over 30 years. That is until 2022, when Mega Man 11 surpassed those sales. Today, 11 has sold over 1.7 million units. But we're not talking about 11 today. Today, we're talking about Mega Man 2, so let's get this party started. In this game, there was a password system, which allowed you to input a password to continue where you left off in the game. You would get a password whenever you get a game over, or whenever you've beaten a boss. You would write the password down somewhere so that when you come back to the game, you could input the password into the game so that you could continue where you left off. However, passwords do not remember which Wily stage you've left off at. Also, it doesn't remember how many lives you've had. Also, you noticed I picked difficult mode at the start of the game. That's because in the Japanese version of this game, Rockman 2, it didn't have a difficulty select, but this game's normal mode is an easier version of Rockman 2. So difficult mode, to me, is normal mode. In normal mode of this game, bosses take twice as much damage, and apparently enemies have a higher drop rate, and overall the game's easier. But anyways, speaking of the game, this game established a formula which would carry on in the Mega Man games for decades. In fact, let's start a legacy counter for how many things this game has started. First off, a beginning cutscene, so that's 1. Then, a difficulty select, so that's 2. Title screen music, so that's 3. A password system, so that's 4. And 8 bosses, so that's 5. Wow. So far, 5 things that have been established thanks to this game. So, what boss will we pursue first? Metal Man, because he has the best weapon in the game, Metal Blade, which we will be abusing a lot in this game. And as you can see, the scoring system has been done away with. But I don't count that as something this game started, so yeah. Ooh, an E-Tank, so that's 6. E-Tanks or energy tanks are an item that stay in your inventory until you get a game over, and they will refill your life completely whenever you use them. Also, energy pickups and weapon energy pickups have a different look in this game. I think that would be a 7 and 8, because in every game following this, they looked similar. Metal Man stage is pretty easy overall, and these moles will never appear directly above or below you, but these presses at the beginning do loads of damage, so don't touch them. This guy's name is Blocky. In difficult mode, when you shoot its eyes once, its blocks will fall to your direction. Then it'll go down when you shoot him again. In normal mode, he goes down in one hit. Before the boss, there's a short hallway with no enemies in it. I think that's a mighty number 9, since this hallway's shorter. Metal Man's pretty easy. Watch when the screen flashes. That means the conveyor belt changed its direction. Don't get too close to him. He'll jump to the other side of the room if you do. Remember, we all need personal space, including Robot Masters. After defeating him, this music plays. That's a 10, because in almost every game following this, that's been the victory music. Now we're taken to a screen showing the name of the weapon we've collected, which is an 11 because that's a thing in every game following this one. Next up, Bubble Man. Ah, my eyes! Bro, seriously, what's with that waterfall in the background? It's so unpleasant to look at. The rule in this game, when in doubt, use a Metal Blade. Metal Blade fires in all 8 directions, has a huge hitbox, and you hardly use up any ammo, so it will practically never run out. Now for Bubble Man. Jump over his force shot, go under his bubbles, and shoot him with more Metal Blades before he has a chance to do anything else. We now get Bubble Lead. Who's weak to Bubble Lead? Heat Man is, so we're going after him next. Again, Metal Blade works like a charm. Just be careful around the lava though. My rule here is shoot, then move. You can also scroll these spring heads off the screen. You can also kill them with Bubble Lead if you're curious. This stage is notorious for its disappearing blocks, especially this one right here. Here's how to do it. Big drop, then 1 block, 2 blocks, 3 blocks, then immediately jump. If you're airborne when returning Sniper Joe lands, he won't shoot. Now for Heat Man. Make a big jump at the start of the fight. That should dodge his first atomic fire volley. Whenever you damage Heat Man, he'll get fired up, then he'll dash to your current position. Jump over him and try to shoot him before he fires another volley. Eventually, Heat Man will die. Now we get Atomic Fire and Item 1, a utility that makes a platform that slowly hovers off the ground. Won't really count that as another established thing because we already had something similar to this in the first game. Now for Woodman Stage. There are 3 hot dogs we have to fight. The second one we actually have to confront, but the first and third ones can be killed from afar. Also, Pippi's really easy to deal with, but sometimes you gotta predict when he's gonna appear. When he's on screen for too long, he'll drop an egg full of babies that will swarm you. The end room has a bunch of cuckoos that you need to go under. Memorize their spawn timing and position yourself accordingly. Equip Atomic Fire for Woodman. Oh wait, I forgot. This is the first weapon you can charge, so that makes it 12. Hold the B button to fully charge your Atomic Fire when the fight starts. Jump over his leaf shield, then shoot him with a fully charged Atomic Fire shot before he summons another leaf shield. 2 fully charged Atomic Fire shots will kill Woodman. Now we get Leaf Shield. Now it's time to go after one of the hardest bosses in the game, Airman. Now there are 2 ways to go across this pit. We can be an absolute tryhard ninja and make a bunch of very precise jumps across the air tikis, but this is way too risky. But it is pretty entertaining. Do what any cool-headed player would do and take it slow and easy. No need to go so fast. Here you pretty much have to predict when Pippi will appear. Make an arcing jump when the spike is almost fully up to make this air tiki appear. Then when the spikes are gone, quickly jump on top of it. Now for Airman. We're using Item 1. Airman will make one of 5 different tornado patterns and blow them to the opposite side of the screen, including you. After he does 3, he'll jump to the other side where you can spam Leaf Shield on him as fast as you can. I use Item 1 here because some of his patterns are really hard to dodge. If I see a pattern that's easy to dodge, I drop down and I dodge it. If I see one that's hard to dodge, I go on Item 1 and mount over the tornadoes. When you stand on Item 1 in this fight, the blowing wind will still blow you, but not as strong as it does when you're either airborne or on ground level. When you jump on Item 1, the wind will go at normal speed. Sometimes you have to jump to lure the tornadoes closer to you so you can spawn another platform. Try to wait until the platform starts to despawn to drop down to the floor, as you cannot enter the weapon select screen until the last instance of your currently equipped weapon or utility has despawned. After 3 tornado patterns, he'll jump to the other side of the screen where you can spam Leaf Shield on him. After that, we get Air Shooter and Item 2, which is a jet sled, which probably could have been useful in Heatman stage, but for no damage purposes, I didn't come here before Heatman. Now for Crashman. Metal Blade Abuse! And also Leaf Shield's useful for the ladder part. Get to the ladder on the far right, and shoot to the right to let the game know you're facing that way. Now you don't have to worry about Pippi anymore, as long as you don't change weapons or shoot to the left until you've reached the top of the ladder. Equip Air Shooter for Crashman. Crashman will go down very quickly with just a few shots of Air Shooter. Now we got Crash Bomber, which can destroy certain walls in stages. Let's head after Flashman next. More Metal Blade Abuse! Except for on returning Sniper Joe. Remember, jump before he lands so that he doesn't shoot at you. Take the top route to get to this E-tank and this wall. Use Item 2 if needed. Now for Flashman. While he is weak to Crash Bomber, he is just as weak to Metal Blade as he is to that, not to mention Metal Blade having more spam potential. Shoot him a few times when he runs towards you, jump over him, then shoot him a few more times for good measure. Now we have Time Stopper, and Item 3, which is kinda like Item 1, except you have to use it next to a wall in order for it to go up, otherwise it'll bounce around. Now last, but definitely not least, Quickman. Quickman Stage's main gimmick is these force beams that are an instant kill if you touch them. Then a dark room with Chanky makers who are stupidly weak to Air Shooter. Then more force beams. Then, a room with a bunch of Sniper Joes. Then, Quickman. Use Metal Blade on him when he's in a corner. Then, quickly switch to Crash Bomber, shoot him with it, quickly switch to Metal Blade, lather, rinse, repeat. When he's halfway on health, switch to Time Stopper and use it. Quickman is dead. Quickman will always strike a pose whenever he gets hit by something he's invincible to, so use that to your advantage. Now we get Quick Boomerang, which, just like Metal Blade, has tons of ammunition. Now for the Wily stages. A Wily Stage map. That would be number 13. Wily Stage 1 has awesome music, and parts where they force you to use utilities. But I'll let you listen to this awesome song. This song is widely loved by almost everyone in the Mega Man community, and I also think this song's a banger, so please enjoy. Holy crud, what is that thing? Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Mecha Dragon. Don't run into him, he's an instant knockout, or an instant KO. He'll lead you to these 3 platforms. Pretty much any hit here is death, so be very careful here. Try to alternate between the top 2 platforms. When he shoots a fireball at you, go to the other platform. Eventually, Mecha will go down. Now for Wily Stage 2, with more awesome music. Item 2 is required to get across this pit with. Jump on the second ladder. There's no need to go on the first ladder and waste a bunch of Crash Bomber ammo, because we're gonna need almost all of it in a couple stages. Don't use Crash Bomber at all in this stage or the next stage. They're all tricks. Use lemons in this room with moles. This is actually a good time to refill on our ammo, considering that weapon energy stays constant during stages. Use item 3 to get up here. And be careful with that press up there. Good thing that Mega Man's arms aren't actually a part of Mega's hurt box, so doing that's actually easier than it looks. Equip Metal Blade to fight the boss of this stage, Pico Pico Kun. This boss will attack you by creating enemies from the wall that will home in on you. Shoot each of them with 3 metal blades each. Being at the dead center of the screen is the safest place so that you can react to wherever he spawns. He does spawn in a pattern, but anyways, he goes down pretty quickly. Wily Stage 3 is pretty easy. Just do not use Crash Bomber on these walls. Just don't. These fish go down with 1 quick boomerang. And a very easy spike tunnel. Trust me, it's easier than it looks. Use item 2 in this room to fly over the crazy cannons, equip quick boomerang, then jump in the boss door to fight the Guts Dozer. When I first played this game, I called this guy Big Fella for some reason. I don't know why, but let's just call him that for the laughs. Big Fella will shoot a shot at you when you're on top of him, and he'll spawn a met when you're not on top of him. But if you're close enough, he can still shoot a shot. When he's moving to the left, be on top of him and shoot quick boomerangs. When he's moving to the right, get down on the ground and inch towards him as he's moving right. Eventually, Big Fella will go down. Now for the most hated stage in the game, Wily Stage 4. If you move quickly enough, you can take this med out easy. There are a few fake floors in the beginning of the stage. If you use bubble lead, you can see where the fake floors are, but I knew where they were. No real point in going after the E-tank, as there are fake floors in this room too. Metal Blade abuse, because yes, the tellies and the lift are back. Jump on this platform here so that the lift won't scrape you off here. Same for this room here. Jump off on this platform. And here, jump on this block, wait until right before this platform reaches this corner here, and make 2 quick big jumps. Or just use item 2. To kill this Sniper Joe without getting hit, you must use 1 fully charged atomic fire shot. This Sniper Joe is the last enemy in the game that can drop items. I didn't really think I needed to grind off of this guy, so I just equipped item 1 and jumped into the boss door so that I could fight the boss of this stage, the Boo Beam Trap. You need Crash Bomber in order to hurt this guy and its walls. To dodge Boo Beam's bullets, if you go in and out of the weapon select screen, it'll stall Mega Man in a teleporting state. In that state, he cannot physically get hit by anything, and Boo Beam's shots don't work correctly and they don't freeze in place when you exit the weapon select screen. So this is pretty much a foolproof way to not get hit in this fight. Don't worry, I'll redo this fight in a follow-up video, I promise. These are the places where you should place a Crash Bomber. Notice how you must nail a bomb between the Boo Beam and the wall here on the left. If you did it my way, you should defeat Boo Beam with only 1 Crash Bomber left. Now for the last stage in the game, Wily Stage 5. This is the boss rush stage. We must fight all 8 Robot Masters in the game, so that's number 14. These are the 8 capsules and the Robot Masters inside these capsules. First, I take on Airman, as he's the hardest boss in the game. The game starts you a bit further to the right of the left wall, so I quickly ran to the left wall, made an item 1 platform, then I immediately jumped on top of it. Airman gave me really good RNG here, so that was a piece of cake. Next, Woodman. For him, I used Metal Blade. I took him on next because he ended a run here. Remember, I record these runs stage by stage. The rest of the bosses were pretty easy. Metal Man is weak to his own weapon, which is kinda sad. Now for Wily Machine number 2. His first form is very easy. Just jump over the arcing bullet, shoot the window, and hug the left wall. Get him down to 1 HP, then shoot him when he's somewhat in the middle of the screen and he's moving to the left. Then equip your very last Crash Bomber, wait for him to start moving to the right, yes, this is his second form, then nail the machine right under the cockpit. The Crash Bomber explosion will do multiple damage to Wily Machine 2's second form, and since it is his weakness, it'll kill Wily Machine 2 within seconds. After that, the floor will explode and Mega Man will drop into the abyss, revealing the real last stage in the game, Wily Stage 6. Equip Bubble Lead at the beginning of the stage, then keep going to the right. If you keep running right and never stop moving right, the acid will never hit you. After jumping into the door, Wily will reveal that he was an alien the entire time? Anyways, the alien can only be harmed with Bubble Lead. Any other weapon will completely refill its health. If you ran out of Bubble Lead, you have to get a game over here. The alien goes in a figure 8. Just hit him when he's in the middle of the 8. Try not to get hit by it, because he does quite a lot of damage to you. Eventually, the alien will go down. Wait, it was a hologram this whole time? Well, that's Mega Man 2, the neat way. An end cutscene with no credits. That's 15! You know, Capcom wasn't really as ambitious to launch this game as they were for the first game. That's because the first game didn't sell very well, so they didn't even want to make another Mega Man game. But the devs of the first game wanted to make another game, and Capcom let them do that as long as they promised to work on other projects that Capcom actually wanted to work on. So this game was developed completely under the free time of the devs. That's real dedication. And they ended out making one of the best games Capcom has ever made. Mega Man 2 is even considered to be one of the top games ever released on the Nintendo Entertainment System. It's a fun, memorable game with fun, memorable stages and gimmicks. It also has very good music. It amazes me how they were able to make such awesome sounding music with such limited hardware. I mean, there are games in the series that I enjoy over this game, but this game is a very important game in the series, starting many things that have been in the franchise for decades. And this no damage run was very fun to do, even if it was a bit harder to do than 1. So, the final legacy count is 15 things. Wow, Mega Man 2, you really do have a legacy, don't you? Well, that's all for this video. Thanks to everyone who liked the first few videos I've made. I was pretty nervous when I was making those, but they turned out to be very good. Dang good, in fact. But anyways, thanks for watching. If you like this one, leave a like. If you dislike this one, leave a dislike. Nobody's stopping you. And if you'd like to see more content like this, please consider subscribing. It's free, it's easy, it's quick, and hey, you can always unsubscribe later. Unsubscribing is just as free, easy, and quick as subscribing. And yeah, I shall see y'all in the next one. Until then, peace. And please enjoy this outro.